3 games remain in USL League One season where the playoffs are all the rage. Greenville clinched last week, being one of 2 clubs to make the playoffs all 6 times. Spokane want to make history as they are 1 win away from postseason berth in their inaugural season. We're at One Spokane Stadium as the USL League One is on ESPN+. Hello and welcome, I'm Ryan Lee, so happy to be with you today as the table tightens in the final month with every outcome and every point mattering just so much more. Greenville clinched last week versus Lexington, but they want to put themselves into a top 4 slot where they can have a game back home in Furman that can potentially build with a result tonight, with Spokane also very much clear the playoff line, but they want to just get into the dance by any means necessary. Greenville got rocked by a couple of hurricanes, but they could only adapt and persevere, playing last week's match against Lexington at Clemson instead of at their regular home in Furman. It was a 1-1 match in 47 minutes after a Greenville own goal in the first half, with a Lexington own goal coming out of the break. However, just a couple minutes after it got knotted up at 1, Sebastian Velasquez would bury a goal of the week worthy game winner to clinch Greenville's trip to the postseason for the 6th time, a mark only done by Union Omaha. McKinnon is second in the USL League One in goals and assists. His offensive production has been a huge reason why Greenville has been so successful all season long. His 6 goal contributions in the 3 matches of September gave him the honor of the Player of the Month. The 25-year-old Swiss Army knife will have to continue striking for Rick Wright. And for Spokane Velocity, things have been on a bit of a downswing because they have struggled to score. They've been shut out for 9 consecutive halves, posting the 3rd longest goalless drought in all of USL League One. However, it's gonna just slightly turn up as they will be having a couple pieces coming back into the lineup after some long hiatuses, including none other than the leader, both vocally and on the stat sheet, in Luis Heel. He continues to lead the club in goals and has also been one of the stalwarts of this Spokane side. He makes his 75th appearance in USL League One for the man who is top 3 in chances created in the league. And those chances created could be significant for this Velocity side, considering that a win versus Greenville will punch their ticket into the postseason. They also might be scoreboard watching because if Madison can just force Chattanooga to not get the win, it can provide a little bit of breathing room for Spokane to get a draw as well. However, the win tonight is priority number 1. Greenville look to bring this thing back home with a top 4 seed. Spokane want to punch the ticket into the dance. Lineups and kickoff are next.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
It's October, which can only mean one thing. Frighteningly good pro soccer. Spokane Velocity FC battles 1 Knoxville SC on Saturday the 26th. Watch as Spokane squad battles for a playoff spot, right here at One Spokane Stadium. It's the last regular season match, and we are celebrating you with free t-shirts for the first 1,000 fans. Pro soccer so good, it's spooky. Scare up some tickets now.
I'm a real wild one.
Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months. Or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 Wild bonus cash.
We go through our starting 11s. First off, the home side, Spokane Velocity. How are they going to get into the postseason? Well, it depends on what they bring out with Flyers and Gill, two veterans up top. Gill makes his 25th start of 2024 and his 7th appearance in his 3rd League One season. Derek Waldeck makes start number 100 against a Greenville Triumph team who he used to be a part of. Speaking of Greenville Triumph, their starting 11 is met by 0 changes. Schultz, Fricky, Polak, and Smith combined for over 360 matches between the 4 of them. Leo Castro and Lyon McKinnon, you got to watch out for that left side of this Greenville formation because McKinnon and Castro are both top 5 in goals. We'll see how they do here on the road in the Pacific Northwest. Luis Heel is coming back after a couple of weeks off from a thigh injury. He'll start things off as his home side, Spokane Velocity. They will be in all white as we kick things off. Spokane Velocity, they're in all white. They'll attack from right to left to start this first half with Greenville Triumph in the blue pants with the green tops, going from left to right to start things off in the first half of play. Ryan Lee and our entire ESPN Plus broadcast crew, we welcome you here in One Spokane Stadium, where both teams are very much looking for some things that can continue to extend their season. With Spokane, a win and they're in. They also have to scoreboard watch depending on how things go between Madison and Chattanooga. If Chattanooga just does not beat Madison in any way, shape, or form, then Spokane can get in with a draw. Greenville clinched last week after beating Lexington at home, away from home. Because of the circumstances of Hurricane Helene, they could not play at Furman. They took a bus trip over to Clemson, where Rick Wright said that it was all a matter of perseverance. Considering the circumstances of the game, it was also a matter of the challenge and resilience that was required to continue to not only play their game, but come up with the result at the end of the day as well for a Lex Sporting side who had everything to play for. It really brought up a lot of new elements that Rick Wright, he's just happy that they were able to get everything going at the end of the day, considering the circumstances that were happening. So they have already clinched, have Greenville Triumph. At this point for them, it's a matter of getting into the top 4 so that they can get a home playoff game. So they're not just in the postseason, but whomever takes the respective slot will make the trip over to Greensville, over at Paladin Stadium in Furman. Both these two teams starting off relatively slow as they're kind of feeling each other out. They've only played each other twice in this 2024 season. Both of those games were W's in favor of the Triumph. The season opener that was over at Paladin Stadium, where it was a 3-1 win for the Greenville Triumph. However, the last time that they played, this one actually came here to One Spokane Stadium, where it was actually the Jägermeister Cup. It was scoreless after 90 minutes of play, where the Triumph were triumphant once more, getting the W after PKs were had. So Spokane not just looking to get into the postseason, also a little bit of program history with their first win against Greenville Triumph. Luis Heel tries to feed this one in center before it gets bounced back. Heel towards center, and that's captured for the first time. And that will be the first time we will call out for Gunther Rankenberg. Heel coming back into the lineup, already making his presence felt as he goes back and forth with Masango Akale, tries to feed it in front. Luis Heel wears the captain's armband today, as it's touchdown for Gunther Rankenberg, who sends it off. Bit of a stumble there before getting back on his own 2 feet. Spokane trying to get back on it. As we mentioned, going into this game, Spokane have the 3rd longest goalless drought, logging at 407 minutes without a goal. That's 9 halves that they've been shut out. Only 2 teams in USL League One history have done more. Central Valley Fuego a season ago, and Orlando City B all the way back in the first season of USL League One play in 2020. want to try to get themselves back on the score sheet, do Spokane, but first they have to defend against the dangerous attack of Greenville Triumph. Leo Castro feeds it around before it's taken away, where Lee gives it away. And it works back for Chaparrera. This Greenville Triumph side and Rick Wright's squad, they've really had some good times considering how much it's really been a seamless transition once Wright took over being an assistant for the past 5 years. And this being his first go around as the head guy, and he really talked about how things have gone well for the Triumph as they just try to shoot this one in and take their chance at the 22-year-old netminder Brooks Thompson. Kept in by Ben Sikowski. Couldn't keep it in long, and couldn't hit Herrera, but it does make its way out for a Greenville throw. Schultz wanted to feed it up. Only one there is going to make its way back. East Jome before Thompson sends it off, and this will be back-to-back throw-ins for the Triumph. Schultz once more, 20th starts in this 2024 season, making his 62nd start across his 3 seasons, all of them with the Greenville Triumph in USL League One. Has had some time in the championship as well with LA Galaxy 2. As we already have the first decision and the first whistle by our officiating crew in the yellow with Igor Bish, our head official, with Aiden Atkins and Elorm Atisu, our assistant referees, with Chris Calderon, our 4th official. As Denton makes his way back on his own 2 feet, only a foul, no card there. Evan Lee to pitch it back, wanting to go for that little center area for Sebastian Velasquez, but it just rolls slowly to Thompson. As we make our way to our injury report, brought to you by Kinetic Chiropractic, a modern approach to chiropractic care. Only a few injuries, as now it becomes a streak up ahead. 1v1 it goes, sliding around. Pelaez can't get some space. Feeds it off into the box, just over the net. So Pelaez and Akale, 2 mid-season acquisitions combined for that opportunity. Pelaez fed his way into the box. He chose not to shoot, instead left it for Masango Akale. 2 mid-season acquisitions. Neither of them were able to get the shot on frame. Pelaez just deferred to the 22-year-old from Cameroon, Akale, who was too high on that first try. But now they're back on it once again. Quickly into the area, Pelaez has to go, but he's interrupted by Evan Lee, who is the all-time leader in USL League One appearances and minutes. Spokane already back on it. So makes its way for East Jome. Jome has a lane. Wanted to slide it across for Luis Heel, but cannot get it, so it's stripped away by one of the midfielders playing back a little bit, and Chaparrera again. As this Greenville side will just hang on. Gunther Renkenberg and Christian Garner. It's really been a question all season of who's going to really claim the net, considering how we're only 3 games remaining in the regular season. It's been very shocking that Rick Wright has not truly named one their #1 starter, but because of the competition being tight, neither goalie has been complacent whenever they've had their opportunity. So because you have 2 goalies who are balling out in their respective starts, it has really made Rick Wright and his staff very uncertain of where they want to go, because both have played at such a high level. Now Zakowski into the area before it gets poked away by Jome, but kept in by Greenville. Sebastian Velasquez. He's able to crank one in from deep. We saw it last week in the game winner versus Lexington. Has to pivot as he's a man on him, but goes again for Zakowski, but the pass was disrupted before it's taken away by Andre Lewis. Javier Martin Heel wants to go for the backhand back for Lewis, but he takes some contact on Ryan McKinnon, so this goes Greenville's way. Only long-term injuries for Spokane as Luis Heel makes his way back. Now Greenville attacking the Spokane box, right into the area, wants Evan Lee, bobbled and cleared by Spokane. They buy some breathing room, but they can't breathe easy as it's back for Nate Schultz. Zakowski back for Velasquez. Velasquez wants to curl it before it's cut off by some white jerseys. Still danger in the area. Spokane get rid of it, and it gets played back for Jamie Smith. As we mentioned in the open, Greenville's back line, you've got Pollock, Smith, Fricky, and Schultz, a combined 337 starts within the four of them, 365 appearances just on the back four alone. And having that veteran experience, a lot of guys who played a lot of time in the League One or maybe other leagues like the Championship and MLS have really gone well for this Triumph side as they are already in but just want to take things back home. Velasquez attempted to feed, but it was unable to hit his man, but Velasquez is back on it. Schultz to the foot race. Too much juice, Schultz could not catch up. Spokane just trying to get out of their own end of things as Greenville continue to press way up pitch as Thompson will send this one out as we just crossed the 11-minute mark. Chopper Herrera on the cutoff. Spokane just trying to really evaluate not only the team but themselves, noting that their last couple of losses have just simply come down to a lot of mental errors, primarily 30-second to minute-long lapses of focus, not by the whole squad, but rather one individual can kind of throw off the other 10 guys in the formation, is what Lee Friedman mentioned in terms of why the team has not been succeeding as of late. A draw and 3 losses in their last 4. And a lot of that just has to do with just repetition over and over again, understanding the task at hand and making sure that they really play their game to the fullest for 90 to 100 at any given night. Zakowski cuts off the chance for Greenville. McKinnon gets double teamed, and it's going to be a play on as Spokane carries on. A little bit of contact there with Cameron Miller, one of the many, but as that one was attempted to be saved off of the end line, goes off of a Greenville player, so Luis Heel and the rest of the Velocity squad will take the first corner of the match. Derek Waldeck, 26 years old, from Stanford Cardinal, making his 100th start in USL League One, 111 appearances in his last several seasons with the USL League One, spending 2022 with the Triumph. Takes the first corner kick of the match. Waldeck, back post, wants Miller, but it flutters out of play as it will be taken away by Gunther Rankenberg. So for those keeping track at home, there has been an updated goal for Spokane Velocity, with Chattanooga having just wrapped up against Forward Madison, with the Mingos taking the W at home against the Red Wolves. So for Spokane Velocity, the goal is simple. Any points will do, win or draw. A lot of that has to come as well. Before the day started, you had to break out the abacus to really break down what needed to be done in order to get Spokane in the playoffs, but with Richmond and Tormenta having drawn level at the end of 90+ yesterday, and even some of the results with Lexington losing in Omaha earlier in the afternoon, and as we mentioned, Madison took care of business against Chattanooga. For Spokane, it is win or draw. Stripped away, Jack Denton, who turns 26 tomorrow, as it makes its way all the way back for East Jome. Andre Lewis tries to get through 2 green jerseys, but instead it's Ben Sikowski. He's got a 4-on-3 brewing if he can get it done quick. Feeds it off. Lyon McKinnon pivots down on the ground. Point to the spot. Penalty 15 minutes in. Lyon McKinnon, second in the league in goals and assists. The danger was enough for Ahmad Longmire to slide out and make contact, and Longmire puts Brooks Thompson to the test. Thompson is making his 14th start of the season after spending last season as the starter for the North Carolina FC side that won it all a year ago. He has now been the full-time starter for Spokane Velocity. He has to go up against the second leading goal scorer in the USL League One. Lyon McKinnon, he's second in the league in goals, the reigning player of the month of September. McKinnon on Thompson to open things up. McKinnon buries it. Greenville go on top early. He draws the penalty. He scores the penalty. Lyon McKinnon, 1-0. This all started because Sikowski saw the space that McKinnon had in a high danger spot. Ahmad Longmire slipped out and allowed McKinnon to bury it from the point. And Lyon McKinnon continues to build upward. 17 goals in 28 matches for the 25-year-old from Villanova. And just like that, it only takes one mistake for this scale to tip in one direction. Quick takedown near the center stripe as it's a quick tangle up with Anwar Pelaez. And he's getting a quick talking to after making some contact with Chapa Herrera. Check out all the exciting postseason action starting in November as the USL playoffs presented by Terminix showcases the top teams battling it out for the ultimate prize. Go to USLLeague1.com for the latest playoff information. Greenville already punched their ticket. Spokane, a win. And after the circumstances of Lexington losing, Richmond Tormenta a draw, and Chattanooga losing, Spokane now need, at minimum, a draw as well, but a win would just make it so much sweeter. Inside the opposing half, Herrera draws back-to-back fouls As going down to the turf is Herrera, the midfielder, in his 19th start as he takes contact from East Jome, as Herrera just tried to spin that one around. Herrera is a guy who Rick Wright said is one of those guys who you just really love to have in the room because how hungry he is to just succeed. And not only is he a great player, but just the human he is off the pitch as well. Wright told us about how Herrera just struggles to get off of the pitch under any circumstance. Even in training, he'll sometimes refuse to get off of the pitch, even for a singular drill, to Rick Wright's direction. But sometimes Herrera will concede to his head coach, apologize for the snafu, and then they can move on peacefully. Trying to move in is Derek Waldeck, so he can make way for Spokane. Waldeck on the hesitation at the top of the box. End to end it goes. Chested down towards the center and a quick tangle up. No second chance there as Luis Heel couldn't get a touch. Waldeck off of a bounce. Off of Schultz last or off of Waldeck? That's off of Waldeck. Schultz struggles to get it out of their end. Swing and a miss, so it's kept in by Spokane. Lewis to feed for Akale. Lewis and Akale go back and forth. Headed away, Velasquez buys some room, Leo Castro. Zakowski keeps it in bounds to prevent the Spokane throw. Lion McKinnon scored the opening goal. Now your co-leader in the Golden Boot race with Juan Carlos Obregon of Charlotte Independence. Both of them are sitting at 13 regular season goals apiece. Lion McKinnon is also in the top two in the Golden Playmaker race for the most assists in USL League One, with a whole bunch of players all sitting at 5 assists, all chasing Alfredo Medense of Central Valley Fuego. Herrera leaves it back. Pops up in the air, trying to capture it as anyone. Jome, that one goes off his own man. Some friendly fire, as that one had to be a desperation level slide to prevent that one from going into the feet of Zakowski. Cameron Miller with the heads up play in his first pro season after making it via trials, after spending some time in USL League Two while with Seattle University. Velasquez playing very much back despite being listed in the starting 11 as one of the two forwards in the intended Rick Wright 4-4-2. He has been in good form as of late despite missing about a month from mid-August to mid-September due to injury, but he has come back in some form with some new life and new confidence to him is Sebastian Velasquez, as this is going to be a long ball for Greenville. Zakowski works on Jome. Zakowski centers. McKinnon! The boots now golden. Lion McKinnon, first place in League One goals, 2-0. Lion McKinnon, we just talked about how he tied the League One lead in goals on the penalty kick. He now overtakes it. Zakowski leaves Lion McKinnon wide open at the top of the 18, slams that one into the bottom left corner, and the 25-year-old Swiss Army knife strikes again for the Greenville triumph. McKinnon, there are so many things we could say about him, but it just comes simply to the evolution of his role, which is what stood out to Rick Wright the most, not just on the pitch, but off of it, mentoring some of these young guys in their early 20s or in their late teens. He was a bit naive in 2023 is what Wright characterized for his number 9, but the results of the training and the practice in the offseason really paid off, as now he's really become a mentor for a lot of the guys in the early 20s, in a similar age range, or maybe guys who are just coming to Greenville for the first time, learning about what the Triumph culture is about. And that vocal presence is one of the X factors that Coach Wright said has really been the difference maker in McKinnon's game. It's not what he does on the pitch, it's what he does from the neck up. And it's shown today with 2 goals, getting the dangerous opportunity to force the PK, and then he had all the space in the world to get 2. This has really been something very, not necessarily uncharacteristic, but it's against the grain for Greenville Triumph, as we have another quick talking to with Pelaez getting tangled up. Another decision by Igor Bish, our head official, as our entire officiating crew is in yellow. Pelaez, he's been booked twice in his prior 3 matches in USL League One before since being acquired in the early parts of August, after spending his last couple of seasons both within the US and elsewhere. Spending 2023 with the Oakland Roots, he came over in a mid-season acquisition after spending the first portion of the season with Guastatoya in the first division of Guatemala, and started off the first 5 years of his pro career from 2017 to 2022 in Venezuela. Long ball attempted, settles down. Evan Lee lays a shoulder, and this will go for a corner for Greenville. Evan Lee, he'll just collect and drop. And it looks like he might leave it for Liam McKinnon, as this is the first of our Greenville ICCU corner kicks, your financial success fan club. McKinnon ready for an in-swinger. Could he go Olympico for the hat trick? Imagine what a way to get a hat trick if that was the case. But he's got support with Velasquez up tight. Elects to go. McKinnon swatted down by Castro. Doesn't go, but it's kept in the possession of Tyler Pollock. Pollock for Castro, who's getting double teamed as it's played back with Velasquez. Leave it all the way back with Jamie Smith, who's also combining with Brandon Fricky on that back line in the center D spot with Jamie Smith in his 3rd season with Greenville Triumph after making it in trials. As you might know, his head coach, his dad, Dean, the head coach of Charlotte in the MLS, who are currently making their way for the playoffs. So what a time it is for the Smith family, with Father Dean making the playoffs with Charlotte, and Jamie, center back, starting with Greenville Triumph already in as well. Scan now and win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you to Caruso's, De Leon's Taco and Bar, the Burger Dock, Fish Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. Another whistle on Spokane inside of the Greenville attacking third. As Barrera went down, but the feed goes skyward straight into the stand, so Spokane will take over. Spokane winless in their last 4. Not having a goal at all within that 4-game stretch extends all the way to 9 halves. As they are looking for, at minimum, a draw to punch their ticket to the postseason. Greenville, they're in 4th. They want to stay there or go upward. As McKinnon wanted to go cheeky, back heel for Zakowski, wanted to go back to Zakowski again. But Brooks Thompson just lets that one roll to his feet so he can pick it up and slow things down a little bit. Brooks Thompson, he's really been the starting netminder in this more or less identity change for Spokane Velocity, as Lee Wiedemann talked about how there were just a lot of dips that were kind of trending very negatively in Spokane's overall season, and because of that, he looked at the squad and said, we're going to make one drastic change across the board. He did contemplate doing many microscopic level changes, but because of just overall adaptivity, he wanted to rip the Band-Aid off as quickly as possible, so just made one cultural identity change, and one of those was Brooks Thompson taking that over from Carlos Marancio. Now it's a chance for Spokane as Luis Heel has it. Has to pivot. Heel cuts inside. Heel wanted to go back post, but it was cut off. That was Tyler Polak on the header, but still alive for Jack Denton. Jome. Waldeck plays it back centrally for Denton. Him and Lewis go back and forth, and he'll just buy some space for Longmire as him and Miller back up. Brooks Thompson looking for win number 15 in his USL League One season, looking for the 5th of 2024 as McKinnon wants to slide it for Castro, but he's cut off by Cameron Miller. And Miller plays it up pitch. Does it meet anyone in white? No, it's Tyler Polak instead. But it doesn't matter because Polak's feet got cut off regardless. As Miller wanted to go back, and that's going to be some contact, and is this going to be the first booking of the match? It's Jack Denton, 25th appearance in his first League One season. As that one was just some contact. It was a little bit of leg on leg. You can argue the arm as well between Denton and Zakowski. It was a little bit interesting to see Jack Denton stick the leg out, considering that he has missed parts of this season with an ankle, but he was willing to risk it on the line because of how dangerous Greenville's attack has been, but they have a chance to continue on with a set piece well outside of the 18. Velasquez is there, McKinnon with him, 3 on the wall. We saw Velasquez take a long distance try into the top corner versus Lexington to win the game. Liam McKinnon looking for a hat trick. Who gives it a go? McKinnon off of the wall and out. It's Liam McKinnon in the 17th and 23rd. To get goals number 13 and 14 to tie and overtake JC Obregon of Charlotte Independence for the Golden Boot. Miller straight into the stands, out of play. Windermere Foundation is thrilled to welcome our Charity of the Month. It's more than a home. It's a way to give back. Please visit our site at www.windermerefoundation.com. Evan Lee has some space, gives it across for Sebastian Velasquez, who wanted to set up but was disrupted by a couple of white jerseys, and one of those on the backwards pressure was Akale. As that springs things forward for Spokane. Luis Heel, he's got 3 green jerseys on him, wanted to give it across for Pelaez, but it was interrupted by one of those aforementioned green jerseys as Zakowski couldn't get past Jome, but Jome got a poke before it goes out of play. Watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, the nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Select matches, including the championship final, will be available in Spanish throughout the rest of the season. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. "10 minutes until we hit stoppage time, where Spokane has not really done much on the offensive side of things so far, considering how they haven't really gotten many opportunities. They do have more of the touches in the respective opposing boxes. However, with Greenville, they've done a much better job at getting into the final third, getting chances towards net, and not just getting them towards net, but getting them on frame. As Zakowski takes contact once more, and Zakowski and Herrera, those two have just been getting harassed all game today, as Zakowski, he didn't even get contact. He just went down on his own volition. This is not a good thing to see if you are this Triumph side, considering how Zakowski has really come off on his own in his first professional season, signing his first contract out of Monmouth. He's second on the team in assists at only 23 years old. And considering how much this young forward slash midfielder has been for the Triumph, losing him for an extended period of time would be very much not in the plans of Rick Wright. Is someone going to come in to replace Zakowski is the big question. It looks like Rick Wright might have handed the fourth official, Chris Calderon, a card, so there's a chance we might see it with under 10 minutes to go in the half. And it seems like that's going to be the case, as Zion Scarlett makes his way into the match for what looks like an injured Ben Zakowski. Scarlett, a 20-year-old who spent the last 2 seasons with Columbus Crew 2 of MLS Next Pro, also a member of the Jamaica U20 squad, with a couple of caps with the Reggae Boys. And Scarlett has been someone who Rick Wright is saying that you guys need to talk more about because of how much he's been able to provide when he's on the pitch. Speaking of providing on the pitch, Liam McKinnon, he's got a space to run. He has to slow things down. He's waiting for reinforcements. McKinnon wanted to go center, poked away, but Polak keeps it alive. Akale plays it back for Javier Martin Heel before it's disrupted by McKinnon and out. Herrera and Polak complete the turnover for Greenville. Evan Lee for Liam McKinnon. McKinnon wants Castro into the box, can't get it to go. Or it's Polak once again. And McKinnon and Castro want to continue linking up. They keep trying because they are the second highest goal scoring and goal contributing tandem across the entirety of USL League One, trailing only Pedro Dolabella and Steven Dos Santos of Union Omaha since 2022. So considering how productive they've been in the last 2 seasons, that link up has been not there yet, but it's not for lack of trying. Evan Lee. Velasquez wants to chip it up. He's got Evan Lee. Works on Heel. Martin Heel keeps it in play, but it will go out of play for a corner. So Javier Martin Heel takes the last touch before it goes out of play. This would be the second corner for Greenville, as it's another opportunity to talk about the ICCU corner kicks, your financial success fan club. Five minutes of the half. Liam McKinnon on the in-swinger. No one able to claim it, as that had way too much power on that one, but it doesn't matter because it will reverse course. Zion Scarlett, as we mentioned, is someone who has been dealing with illness as of last week versus Lexington, but he has been playing a lot better, not just in terms of his physical health, but also in terms of his physical form as well, because he has been just doing so well in training, considering everything that's been happening, and because of the fact that he is in his first season in USL League One playing with this type of group, he's been excellent all the way through. Velocity fans, get ready for the latest Velocity merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. A lot of options to choose from. They're wearing their whites. They also have some very nice looking black and the recently announced light blue jerseys as well, which were introduced a couple short weeks ago. As it goes back to the side in white with Derek Waldeck taking the throw. Cut off. Leo Castro. Where does he go? He goes towards Velasquez. Velasquez gets pestered by Waldeck, so it just leaves it off, but Castro was double teamed and it just slithers its way to Thompson. Thompson's been launching. He's just been letting them go, but they haven't been in play. That time it was because of Spokane's captain, Luis Heel. As Scarlett kept that one in Greenville's possession, so it goes all the way back. Gotta be careful, but Herrera is ready for the reception. It's been a lot of interesting things happening, including some number 10s being involved with the Greenville Triumph, as a very notable soccer star makes his way into the Greenville ownership group, not just with the Triumph, but also the Liberty on the women's side as well. And it's also a really cool image of Ronaldinho ringing the New York Stock Exchange closing bell on Wall Street with the Triumph and Liberty logos flashing behind him. It's a really cool image if you haven't had a chance to see that, but it could bring a lot of momentum and international recognition to the South Carolina side, considering how Greenville are also very much in the thick of a playoff race. They're 6th consecutively. Only them and Union Omaha have gone to all 6 playoffs, as Gunther Renkenberg will snuff this one to reset things. Velocity fans, scan the QR code to get your single match day tickets today. Feed in, Castro gets a touch, but not all of it. Capped in by Zion Scarlett as he works on Jome. Scarlett looks for some space, has Nate Schultz. Schultz on the elevation, Castro on the back post. Can't get a touch as Javier Martin Heel cuts him off and sends it upward. Herrera for Smith, and him and Smith just retreat this one all the way back for Fricky. Two minutes to the half. Already 2 goals and a substitution. Spokane just need to level this game in order to punch their ticket into the postseason. If they cannot, they have to wait another week. try for Spokane, gets clipped off of Greenville. A little bit of a miscue there, as there was no one from Velocity even in the vicinity. As this will provide another corner kick from ICCU, your Financial Success Fan Club. Two corners aside. Heel, in-swinger, headed up as it makes its way to the opposite sideline, but it will stay in Spokane's possession as Heel will take it after the corner from Heel. One of the many Missouri State players on this pitch today swings it in, takes deflection, and that one just barely trickles out of play. This will be another corner for Spokane. ICCU corner kick as Waldeck sends this one in. Too far for anyone to grab it. Did it last off of Greenville? It did not. Even the attempted slide would have been for naught anyways. So an extra 3 minutes in the first half of play, where the two Lion McKinnon goals are the difference maker. Spokane has spent a lot of time lately trying to focus on the defensive side, because that's where they've had a lot of those lapses that we mentioned earlier, especially with their game versus Omaha, that 4-0 loss, even the 1-0 loss midweek to Central Valley. But now it's a quick slide up Mark, as that one was attempted for Heel, but Gunther Rankenberg was there, as Heel could not get hit by Anwar Pelaez, who, despite only being with the club for a little over 2 months, has a load of experience, 117 matches across his entire pro career for the 31-year-old from Columbia. Two veterans up top in the 4-4-2 for Lee Wiedman, with the 31-year-old Pelaez and the 30-year-old Luis Heel. Aforementioned Luis Heel for Waldeck. Waldeck, you see that double team right there. That's why he can't get anywhere. And that's going to force a turnover for Greenville. We've seen that so many times from the Triumph. They're double teaming guys, they're triple teaming guys, and it's forcing Spokane to put the balls in spot where only a green jersey can hit it, as Leo Castro looks for Zion Scarlett, as Greenville could potentially look for a third before the conclusion of the half. They cannot, because that feed was out of reach for Tyler Pollock. And Spokane, they want to get within one. A win or a draw puts them in the playoffs. Waldeck off the feed from Joan, wants to center as the low dribbler makes its way out of play, but back for Spokane once more. This is most likely the final chance for Spokane, as we're at the 3-minute mark. Attempting to cross it through, quick contact in the box. Fans want a penalty, and they won't get it because Rankenberg will capture, and Smith and Pelaez are getting each other's face. Some reinforcements have to come in order for them to separate, as both teams will make their way into the respective dressing rooms. So a very, very eventful first half of not just action, but goals as well, as there's a brace from that man right there. Lion McKinnon takes over the Golden Boot race with his now league-leading 14th goal of the season to put this game at 2-0 going into the half. It's been really a Greenville game so far, as it's resembled in the score. However, Spokane have a chance to fight back if they want to punch their ticket to the postseason. 2 goals for McKinnon, none for Spokane. More from the USL in League One after this.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
I'm a real wild one.
Once in a while, we all want to go wild. We just need a little help. Meet a little help. The 2024 Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition goes over any terrain, so you can go all out. Get a wild deal on a Bronco Sport today. Lease a Bronco Sport Wild Edition for $339 a month for 36 months, or purchase with $3.9 for 36 and get $2,000 wild bonus cash.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
It's a 2-0 game between Greenville and Spokane as we return here to One Spokane Stadium for Indigenous Peoples Night as they recognize and celebrate the rich history of Native Americans in the Pacific Northwest. Spokane comes from a Salish word meaning children of the sun. The Museum of Arts and Culture partnered with Velocity FC to honor the tribes and community that shaped the region. Well, lots going on in the USL League One and Spokane.
Laid off, Gallardo, Joe Gallardo, a marvelous save, and the stick back is a simple finish. Our own goal. Maneuvered into the box. A whiplashing strike. Swings in. Broken up. And punched home. Back to back. So certainly not going to happen at this rate. In Omaha fighting it out for the first spot. Flung in, flipped out. Oh my goodness! Wow, just wow!
To find the pieces. First corner is in! A header just a few yards out, and just like that, Hailstorm take the lead on the road.
Perez. And God will take it. Oh, it's brilliant! He went to the keeper's side, and it was so well placed, he finds the back of the net. A lot of bend on the corner, finds Chilaka, and his header finds the bottom corner. Boyce. It goes through, and it finds the back of the net. Good first touch. Juan Galindras into the box. The chance there finds the bottom corner. This is pushed away. That was speculative. It comes through, and it finds the back of the net. Over the top. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. Rounds Shipman, drags it across. It's tapped home. Obregon. A 13th goal of the season.
Nico Brown. The cross inside! And it's in! Christian Liu Young nodding that one home. Herrera. Nice ball forward for Castro! And it's deflected in! One own goal for another. Bring it back to Velasquez. Velasquez takes a shot, and Velasquez! Holy smokes! The Colombian, Sebastian Velasquez.
The climb that much steeper for the Red Wolves. Service, top of the area. The handball and Waters. Quick slide through. Mensah! Electro has to work on Roberts. Wants the center. Back post. Benton is down. Rebound scores! It's Knoxville! Fernandez! We're tied!
Hernandez on the volley. Oh my word! Marky Hernandez out of this world! Short corner allowed to bounce, and it's in! And it's Marky Hernandez again! On with Ethan Horde, searching for a fourth. Robles searching for his second, instead finds Noah Powder! It is a fourth for the Hailstorm!
Is it somebody's birthday? Dad, come watch us hit this ugly piñata. Dad!
When Hornets show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
We love each other, and we love this city, and we love this club. It's everything.
I just make sure that my voice is good to go, because probably only got a half to use it.
We used to tell people in the supporter section, go hard or don't be here, right?
Lots of chanting, lots of loudness.
It's electric. It's loud, it's exciting.
195 days they waited. This was a glorious victory at home.
When mosquitoes show up, so do we. Terminix it.
Yeah, trick. I said what I said. I'd rather be famous instead.
Back here at One Spokane Stadium in Spokane, Washington, where Greenville have a 2-0 lead on Spokane. Well, there's been a lot of things happening in the USL and USL League One as we take a look at some news and notes from around the league. And it's been a very eventful week for the USL, and especially USL League One. We mentioned at the end of the first half, but Ronaldinho has joined the Greenville Triumphs ownership group on Wednesday. You had that famous picture of Ronaldinho ringing the New York Stock Exchange belt with the Triumph and Liberty logos behind him. It also helps pave the way for Corpus Christi to have their inaugural season USL League One. Imagine the regional rivalry between Corpus Christi and Texoma, who is coming up in a couple of years as well. And the Union Omaha Owls, they have an opportunity to clinch their third player shield. However, Madison won as well as Union Omaha, so the Owls will have to wait another week. And as we mentioned, some of the results from earlier within the week, it's been very eventful. Spokane, they lost twice within the week already to Central Valley and Union Omaha a couple of weeks ago. Union Omaha getting things taken care of with Lex Sporting, Northern Colorado Hailstorm getting the win versus Charlotte Independence. But the two results on the bottom left are really what I want to focus on, with Tormenta tying with Richmond and Chattanooga losing earlier today. Also Lexington Omaha, who lost in Papillion as well. Those three results allow Spokane to just crack open the door just a smidge, where they don't need to win. They do have an opportunity to punch their ticket in the postseason with a tie as well, because of the other three results happening as well. Well, it's been a lot going on in the USL and League One, as we mentioned, and there will be plenty more with another 45 minutes when we return.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
It's October, which can only mean one thing. Frighteningly good pro soccer. Spokane Velocity FC battles 1 Knoxville SC on Saturday the 26th. Watch as Spokane squad battles for a playoff spot, right here at 1 Spokane Stadium. It's the last regular season match, and we are celebrating you with free t-shirts for the first 1,000 fans. Pro soccer so good, it's spooky. Scare up some tickets now.
It's true that a Windermere agent's client decided to experiment with power washing their deck a day before the house was supposed to go on the market. It's true that he may have accidentally destroyed said deck. Now, you might wonder, how did that deck get torn out, replaced, and stained in one day, in time for the listing to go live the next morning? We'll never tell.
Plenty of action in the first 45 between Spokane Velocity and Greenville Triumph, as Zakowski wanted to feed it off for Lyon McKinnon. He takes a tumble and allows him to strike from the spot, tying him for the league leading goals. This was goal number 13 for McKinnon on the season. And then just a little bit after that, it was the long ball where Ben Zakowski was able to settle, hold, and Lyon McKinnon has all the time and space in the world at the top of the box, able to pick out the bottom corner to overtake the Golden Boot race at goal number 14 in the regular season. So McKinnon now has the most goals in the USL League One regular season, as his Triumph side get ready for the second half of action here at 1 Spokane Stadium. Greenville will be wearing the green with the blue shorts. They will attack from right to left to start the second half of play, while Spokane Velocity, they are in the all whites, as Greenville already looking to attack as the wide angle try. Lee with a settle. Plays it back for Herrera, as he didn't want to rush things, as Velasquez wants to make something go. Evan Lee. Scarlett takes a tumble. It makes its way for Tyler Pollock. Pollock to serve. Wants Zion Scarlett, and that one had Scarlett and Jome on the 50-50, but Scarlett nudges out of play. Nice feed here by Tyler Pollock, and Zion Scarlett coming off of the bench due to the injured Ben Zakowski, making his 25th appearance in his first League One season. Couldn't get the berry that time. as we take a look at some of the adjustments that the two respective coaches may have made coming out of the tunnel. As Spokane wanted to work upward, but it's already cut off by Greenville. Velasquez chips it out, and it's played all the way back. Evan Lee just waits on it. Where the feed from Fricky makes its way all the way back for Rankenberg. And this is the keys to the game, brought to you by Ford. And with Spokane in the second half, it's just to break the ice. Just tip that first domino as they'll just slowly continue to escalate as Javier Martin Heel wanted to get through the gang in green over there, but couldn't quite get past the barricade as Greenville already back on with Chaparrera. And we mentioned in the half the new ownership of the Greenville Triumph with Brazilian international superstar Ronaldinho. It was actually kept a secret from Rick Wright, from the club president Chris Lewis. Rick Wright, not a big social media guy, so he actually heard about it when his phone was blowing up one day after training. He even got a text from his daughter asking if this photo was AI, the photo of Ronaldinho posing with the jersey, and even jokingly asked Sebastian Velasquez if he would concede his number 10 for the new co-owner of Greenville Triumph, in jest obviously, but it was a moment that really took the house down within the Greenville Triumph practice facility. And with the World Cup coming to the US only a couple years from now, it can really bring a lot of international eyes, not just on Greenville Triumph, the women's side, the Greenville Liberty of USLW, but also just the entirety of USL as a whole, with some new international eyes. We mentioned earlier how USL Championship, they're bringing some of their games to TUNIN to bring some of the Spanish-speaking audience as well. It's only brought on some of the large amounts of growth throughout the entirety of USL, including the numerous expansion sides, whether that be in the championship with a certain club coming to Western New York, or maybe even Corpus Christi and Texoma coming in USL League One. As that one gets chipped up and out of play, so it will be taken over by Velocity. It's Javier Martin Heel. Quick touch, Luis Heel out of play, and this will be a corner kick for Spokane, their first of the half. Another ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Waldeck ready to go again. Waldeck, in-swinger, back post, takes a deflection, loose in front. Joan couldn't get the swing on as that one hit a body in front, and Velasquez gives Greenville some breathing room. Spokane wants to center. Derek Waldeck cut off by Greenville, out of play. Waldeck was just looking for the back post. That one came down off of Nate Schultz of all people, and East Jom, a nice block in front by the forward Leo Castro on the retreat. But a chance for Akali to center as that one goes off of the post and out. Luis Heel almost got the first goal for Spokane, but it pings the post and goes for a goal kick. This was almost the opportunity for Spokane to just get that first domino to fall. That is now 10 halves consecutively that Spokane have had without a goal. And it now moves them into the second longest goalless drought in all of USL League One, beating the mark of 457 minutes accumulated by Central Valley Fuego a year ago. They were separated by 50 minutes going into today. We're now in minute 51. The only team to have a longer goalless drought is in the 500-minute mark, plus with Orlando City B back in 2020. But Spokane wanted to attack with Jack Denton. Akale works on Polak. Akale across, settles, a feed, a disruption. Back on the feet of Evan Lee, not for long. Lewis wants to go back for heel. Top of the box, quick swing goes as Akale goes wide. Been a lot of challenges and the dips in play for the Spokane Velocity side, but it's not without a lack of trying. They've most certainly have had their opportunities throughout the entire game so far. They just have not been hitting the back of the net, which is really the difference maker in this, not just game, but overall. And part that has to do with the struggle to finish for Spokane. It has really been some of the Achilles heels of the scoreless drought, including being a man down for over an hour of the last 4 matches. So that was 2 red cards, an hour with only 10 men for Spokane just within the last 4 matches alone. So being a man down doesn't really help with that. And the fact that they're able to create, but the finishing is really that factor that they're missing. And part of that might have to go because Spokane, they have struggled to not get shot attempts, but get those shot attempts on net. As Spokane Velocity have the lowest shots to shots on target ratio in the entire league at 31.4%. That's the lowest shot on target mark of the entire league by over 2%. No one else is separated by a single percentage point. So it really speaks as to how maybe Spokane, they're firing but not taking aim before they have a chance. And that one was just a fumble by Spokane. Could have kept it in play, but the hesitation now puts that in Greenville's possession on the throw. Some quick contact with Pelaez and Herrera. As Chopper Herrera makes his way back up on his own power. We saw Herrera take some contact from behind. There might have been some tangling of legs with Herrera and Pelaez. As Pelaez gets a booking when that's all said and done. It's the 3rd time Pelaez has been booked in his 4 games. As we still await the return, and now we go again. Heel as Waldeck waits for some support. Andre Lewis on a pivot as Lee stares right at him. Lee's locked in on Lewis. So he has no other choice than to go all the way back where it's sent across pitch for Ahmad Longmire. Javier Martin Heel has space to work with, works the boundary. Akale goes across, Polak with the deflection, but did it go out before Polak out of touch? No, they'll say Polak first, then out of bounds. So this is the 5th time for Spokane. They'll be out the corner as Akale just narrowly saves that one off of the end line, so it goes for a corner as Derek Waldeck will take the 5th of the game for Spokane Velocity. The 5th time that Spokane can have an ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Waldeck ready on the in-swinger. Punched out by Rankenberg, out of play. We rinse and repeat, go again. Spokane just trying to focus, review, and execute, and just focus on the things in their control. Just trying to really hone in on the things that have made them a relatively dangerous team in the beginning of the season that has cooled down since. Another ICCU corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Already 3.5 as there's just a riot right at the 6-yard box. So many people there as Jome and our head official Igor Bish take a quick little discussion there, and we're back with Luis Heel ready for the in-swinger. Nothing comes of it. Akale gives it a go. It goes off of Polak. Scarlett on the retrieval, and he'll win the whistle as well. Scan now, and you'll win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you to Caruso's, De Leon Tacos and Bar, The Burger Dock, Fish Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. Spokane trying to fuel an attack as that quick little fight on the near side from Anwar Pelaez makes its way into another corner for Spokane. They're 4th of the half. They've already surpassed the amount they had in the first half, and we're only a dozen minutes into the half. As Derek Waldeck ready to go again with ICCU's corner kick, your Financial Success Fan Club. Derek Waldeck. This time it takes a head, and that one goes over the end line, and it goes in the possession of Gunther Rankenberg. Waldeck, this time it was much lower as there were 3 white jerseys in the vicinity of that header. As Rankenberg gets rid of it off of the goal kick, having won his last start in Lexington, already in good position to potentially make it back-to-back. He also wants to break 500, does Gunther Rankenberg, as he sits at 6-1-1 in the season on now 14 starts. Polak. Martin Heel advances it. He's got Akale, nice move there to open up some space. Akale's got some numbers, splits it for Lewis. Lewis for distance, and that one is off target again. But officials say it clipped a Greenville player, so it will be another corner for Velocity. As Akale and Lewis, they were able to combine before the little drop off there for Pelaez. As Anwar Pelaez looking for his first goal in USL League One. And Spokane Velocity in the second half, they've already amassed more ICCU corner kicks than either team did combined in the first half together. As we're at the hour mark. 10th corner of the game, 8th for Spokane. We have to redo things as there was maybe a little too much contact. Jamie Smith and Ahmad Longmire. Longmire turned 26 yesterday. He's second in the league in yellow cards. He's had some issues with some of these in-box scraps before. Jamie Smith, we saw him mouthing off with Pelaez at the end of the half. And now Waldeck will let it go for real this time. Number 8 of the half for Spokane, 10 in the game in totality. Waldeck, back post, had it down, is off of Rankenberg and cleared by Velasquez. Oh boy, Gunther Rankenberg I don't think he meant to, but however it gets out, it gets out. That actually hits the iron instead for Velasquez to clear as Longmire got some contact. So that last shot actually was not off of Rankenberg. It actually hit the woodwork instead, which is why Spokane have still yet to get on the board. Lee Wiedemann trying to make his adjustments based on some of the qualities that he might be needing and the options considering the situations. Maybe not in terms of personnel, but maybe in terms of the tactics or the formation he may want to use. However, those second half adjustments come with a half an hour remaining in the game. Denton tries to cut in for Makale, but those two are not on the same page. So it will come out, and there should be some fresh bodies potentially coming onto the pitch. It is Josh Doling and Osriel Gonzalez ready to enter the match, as Luis Hill and Derek Waldeck are the two who will take a squat on the bench. Josh Doling, 26-year-old center, 26-year-old striker, from London, England, making his 28th appearance after spending some time in the USL Championship with New Mexico and with Los Angeles on a loan stint in 2023 after starting things off in MLS Next Pro with St. Louis City 2 of MLS Next Pro. And Osriel Gonzalez, 23 years old, mid-season acquisition in late May. Also had some time with the Las Vegas Lights a season ago, while actually spending some time in the Canadian Premier League with Edmonton before his first 4 seasons professionally split between the Seattle Sounders and the Seattle Sounders 2, who then became the Tacoma Defiance, all USL Championship experience. Triumph take over, as they have half as many shot attempts as Spokane has had, but have had twice as many shots on net as Spokane have. Herrera on the takeaway, wanted McKinnon, but it makes its way to Tyler Pollock. Velasquez, Zion Scarlett had 2 assists versus the Chattanooga Red Wolves a couple of weeks ago, leaves it behind, so it's taken back by Chapa Herrera. Tyler Pollock. He'll just retreat back for Smith. This Triumph team, they lead the entire league in possession and total touches, and they're really utilizing that to their advantage, as they have already clinched their 6th playoff berth. Only them and Union Omaha have made all 6 postseasons in USL League One. Them meeting in the first ever USL League One playoff, which really was the top 2 regular season teams qualifying straight for the playoffs at the time in 2020. Liam McKinnon wants the hat trick. He was met by a couple of guys in white. Castro, Velasquez. Zion Scarlett takes over. 20 minutes into the second half. 2-0 Greenville Triumph, both off of Liam McKinnon in under 24 minutes. Quick pivot there for Josh Doling. As Greenville continue to put the pressure on. And eventually a takedown from Lewis will make way for the Greenville Triumph. Set piece to be taken by the Triumph. The wall is 2 for Velocity, and Velasquez is the only one in the vicinity of the ball right now. 2 goals on the season, both within the last 3 matches. Over 160 combined matches in the MLS and in USL Championship. Velasquez to serve, the header, scores! Leo Castro gets his 7th and puts Greenville up by 3. Leo Castro, that's 2 goals and an assist in the last 5. A beauty of a header on the dish from Velasquez, and Thompson could only stare behind him. Velasquez to Castro makes this thing 3-0. Leo Castro gets the goal with Sebastian Velasquez on the assist. That puts Velasquez at 2 goals and assists in the last 4. So a lot of the Greenville players are really getting hot at the right time. Part of that could be because they were buzzing when they heard the news, and now they have to fight their way for a home playoff spot. As that one tries to go far post, and Rankenberg comes out for the poke. That's the 6th corner of the half for Spokane. Greenville have only gotten 2 the whole game. Another one for the ICCU Corner Kick, your Financial Success Fan Club, as Osriel Gonzalez is ready to take this one as it goes for an outswinger. Header goes out of the box. And nothing really comes from that as Herrera takes the pass and the trip up. Is this a card or just a warning for Josh Doling? Is the question, as he was the one who was tied up with Herrera. And after all is said and done, Josh Doling will get the booking. That's 8 for Doling on the season, as we are right at the 70-minute mark. Velocity fans, scan the QR code to get your single match day tickets today. And it's got to come fast because Spokane only have 1 home game left in the season. The finale of the 2024 regular season against 1 Knoxville. But between then, Velocity FC take a quick trip to the Rockies, where the Jägermeister Cup champions, Northern Colorado Hailstorm, await them, coming off of that first trophy for the Hailstorm, and also a victory claiming their stake in the top 4 against the Charlotte Independents earlier in the evening. So that actually drops Charlotte down to 6th, and actually worked out for Greenville with the Northern Colorado win, because it gives the Triumph some breathing room in the top 4, as 4 points separate number 4 Greenville and number 5 Knoxville, and Charlotte both tied at 30 points. And if Greenville can continue to take care of business, they'll have that wiggle room in the home playoff slot, as the numbers I just mentioned were live, so you have to take today's results into account as well. Jaume tries to work past Scarlett, he does. Jaume has to work past again. Runs out of time, runs out of space, but Scarlett was able to get the block off of the Jaume feed, so it does go for another Spokane corner. Alone, Spokane Velocity have 10 corners. Another one for the ICCU Corner Kicks, your financial success fan club. Low feed, punched out by Rinkenberg, still alive. Jaume with a swing, still alive. Goes again. Doling takes a tumble and a penalty. Tyler Pollock with some contact on Josh Doling, and it makes way for Spokane Velocity, not just to get on the board, but to snap their goal drought. As the point to the spot, and the question is who's going to take it. It's going to be Josh Doling, who has 4 goals to his name, and Gunther Rankenberg, he has not stopped either of his 2 tries from the dot. Josh Doling, one of the 3 Missouri State Bears on the Spokane Velocity roster today. Gunther Rankenberg looks to make the stop, and Doling looks to snap Spokane's goalless drought. Doling on Rankenberg, gets it to go. And Josh Doling gets Spokane their first goal in 10 halves. It's now 3-1. Has the little punch out there, some contact, a couple of second chances, third chances, and then Tyler Pollock got his leg out on Josh Doling. He comes to the spot himself. Rankenberg got a finger, but not enough. Josh Doling ends Spokane's goalless drought at 480 minutes. The second longest goalless drought in USL League One history finally ends after 10 consecutive scoreless halves. And now Spokane, with just under 20 minutes to go in the game, is there at least a point in play? It's been a large learning process for the Spokane Velocity organization, not just in terms of building a unit, but also some of the guys themselves. And the first man to tell you that he is learning on the job is Lee Wiedman, as this is his first full season in command. He only had a short stint, primarily in that shortened 2021 USL Championship season with the Oklahoma City Energy, the same club he was an assistant with. He finished off that 21 season, as Lee Wiedman's exactly 500 on his coaching record if you combine the two. But he'll be the first one to tell you that he is very much learning everything on the fly about the league, what it takes to succeed in USL League One, how he's been open and adaptable to not only the players, what they require, the overall play, but even just his vision on the entire sport as a whole. All those factors of this first-time club has allowed him to really take the Spokane unit and kind of been trying to build this thing up together, where they're very much in a playoff slot, still looking for the postseason berth. The results are really the determinant here, because the results going their way with the Richmond Tormenta draw, the Chattanooga loss, the Lexington loss as well, very much gets the door wide open for Spokane to get into the postseason. Velocity fans, get match ready with the latest Velocity merchandise. Shop online or in the team store at the Davenport Grand Hotel in Spokane. Andre Lewis has to pivot away from danger so that he can make his way up as he hits his man Pelaez. Azriel Gonzalez tries to escape a couple of Greenville players but can't do so, and they're already back on it with the triumph as Zion Scarlett has a wide open lane on the far side. Scarlett gallops, takes a shot, and that's off of Thompson. A nice dive there from the 23-year-old keeper. But he already has to face pressure again with Greenville getting ready on the young buck, Brooks Thompson. We have not seen a substitution yet from Greenville in the field of play. The only sub we saw from the Triumph was on the injury to Ben Zakowski. As this Triumph team, they are very content with the top 9 that they have. They know what they have provided to them. And they also are very aware of how dangerous this team can be, just as it is. As Greenville not only has the most minutes played by starters, but they also use the fewest number of substitutions throughout the entirety of the League One season. And that's against the Spokane side, who have already used up 2 subs earlier. They change personnel the second fewest times in USL League One this season. So that starting 11 that we flashed right at the start of the game is very similar to what could be the 11 to finish things off, as there have only been a whopping 3 new bodies as we are a dozen minutes from the final 90. Jome has Schultz eyeing him, as it's Azriel Gonzalez fed into the box. Doling takes deflection and just out of play. Oh, had that gone off of Smith and bounced differently, that would have been a potential 1-goal game. But Doling was just off target. As Gonzalez, he had a good feed here for Doling, got the header on, but that deflection from Jamie Smith most likely saves a goal. You could also argue that deflection could have been an own goal as well. Actually didn't even go off of Smith, it actually just went wide of the net. It looked like it did in real time, but referee's word is final. So another substitution for Lee Wiedemann as Joe Schmidt will enter the game for Jack Denton. 26-year-old from University of Indiana. He is on loan for the season, where he made his way to Spokane from Hartford Athletic after spending the last 2 seasons with the Charleston Battery. He was actually on the team with Lee Wiedemann, who was an assistant with that 2023 Battery squad that made it all the way to the USL Championship final before losing to the Phoenix Rising. And that loan from Hartford allowed Joe Schmidt to reunite with his former assistant coach, Lee Wiedemann, here in Spokane. Select is the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select, the player's choice. Zion Scarlett making the choice to go up on his own. Scarlett defeated. McKinnon with the deflection and over. Scan now and you'll win one of 20 unique restaurant discounts. Thank you to Caruso's, De Leon's Taco and Bar, the Burger Dock, Fish Stick Pub, TT's Barbecue, Jimmy John's, Casa Tap House, IHOP, and Steam Plant Restaurant and Brew Pub. I'm sure after a hard-fought 90 minutes of play, some of these guys might be taking their orders before making their way to the bus, as Jamie Smith plays it back for Rankenberg and just does nothing but send that one straight into the bench, as some of the Velocity players were converging on the keeper, Rankenberg. We You mentioned the leadership, especially defensively, the experience that a lot of these Triumph players has. And we asked Rick Wright, considering they already clinched, what could potentially bring Greenville all the way. He said the mesh of the young guns and the wise veterans is really the perfect blend, considering how you have so many guys who have experience. You have some of the guys who were on that 2020 title team, and also some of the young guns who have been scoring at will as well. Jaume has to work on Scarlett with Schultz in the mix as well. Lewis hesitates, cuts in, splits the defenders. Lewis still on it, takes down. No whistle as Dolan couldn't get a touch. And now Velasquez takes some contact, as this will be the yellow card for Joe Schmidt, who just came off of the bench, gets his second booking in only 6 matches. As this will hold things up for Sebastian Velasquez, who already has an assist in today's game. As you can see very much, yep, that is going to be called. Almost a no doubt about it. He just straight up tripped Velasquez. There's really no ifs, ands, or buts about that one. And that is the 4th time that any of the Velocity players have been booked in this match. Greenville's played a pretty clean game, especially considering how they're one of the least booked teams in the league, or the Triumph. Surprising to see Spokane kind of letting the frustration, if you will, or the reckless fouls come to them, considering how they have the least fouls and second fewest yellow cards does Velocity FC, with Velasquez down, the 33-year-old from Colombia, who has been so good since coming to the Triumph this year after spending the last couple of seasons in the USL Championship, all starting back in 2017-2018 with Real Monarchs. And before he started that 2017 season in the championship, he spent 3 seasons in the MLS when he first came to the US with Real Salt Lake and New York City FC, a Greenville high school product, making his way with the Triumph in USL League One. So he goes off on the sideline. We saw Zakowski come out in the first half after he took a couple of nicks. The question for Rick Wright is, will he do the same with Velasquez? Most likely out of precaution. And this will be the entrance for Dan Wu. As they go forward for defender. The 23-year-old defenseman, who's in his 2nd season with the Greenville Triumph, 37 matches played, who was a 2022 All-American and a Big East Defensive Player of the Year with University of Georgetown, the Hoyas. As this also could be a tactical move for Rick Wright, as he takes one of his best forwards and replaces him with a defender, as Thompson will scoop it up and let this one roll for Cameron Miller. Contact at center where Pelaez has to recollect. Ryan McKinnon at the center circle goes down. And now McKinnon is holding himself, but then pops right back up on a limp. Could be potentially, not saying that we're going to discredit the potential injury, but there could be some time wasting the game within the game as well, with under 5 minutes to go. Can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XM-FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XM-FC 157 and the new Sirius XM app. Liam McKinnon with 2 goals within 23 minutes, where the third was taken by Leo Castro on the set piece from Sebastian Velasquez at the 67th minute. And only about 5 minutes after that, Josh Doling would convert on a penalty. But Doling's side, Velocity, are back on it. Andre Lewis dishes it out for Osriel Gonzalez, fed into the box. Wanted to go from Pelaez, but couldn't connect, as that is going to be a takedown with Joe Schmidt in the mix again, already working on a yellow. We talked about how during their goalless drought, Spokane was dealing with 2 players on red cards in that time. They didn't want to make it a third. The USL Championship is on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on the CBS Sports Golazo Network and ESPN+. Go to USL Championship and USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Schultz on the throw, as it goes down again. That time it's Jome who was the man down. And they're just going to play this one into the corner. Duke Greenville just trying to eat away at some of those seconds off the clock, as they are in absolutely zero rush to get this thing up pitch. As Rick Wright goes for what is most likely his ultra defensive formation, with some of the guys coming in and out. Hayden Anderson, Pascal Corvino, Rodrigo Robles, Dan Wu, all defenders or defensive midfielders in some way, shape, and form. Pascal Corvino having a nice little Missouri State Bears reunion with some of his teammates from 2023 and 2022, and Jack Denton, Javier Martin Heel, and Josh Doling, all a part of the Missouri State Bears squad, either in 2022 or 2023. Some of the years where Corvino was a part of that Bear squad, as Spokane already back in the Greenville end of things. But we're in the final minute of the regulation 90. It's all a matter of if they can make this a 1-goal game within the stoppage time, as Lewis has it up top. Quick scoop. Back for Lewis. Wanted to go across, but is interrupted by Hayden Anderson. 6 minutes to go. An already 2-goal game. McKinnon could have gotten the touch to break free for a hat trick, but Ariel Mumba trying to bob and weave his way through. Jome, return feed, cut off by Schultz. Scarlett gets away from Pelaez, and Scarlett has some room, gets across Lewis. Now it's a chance for Zion Scarlett as he gallops up ahead. McKinnon trying to stay onside. Scarlett, he wanted McKinnon, but he knew McKinnon was offside, so he waited. Pascal Corvino. Corvino cuts, takes a shot. Second chance goes, and that one's into the hands of Thompson. Off of the foot that time, Rodrigo Robles. 24-year-old from Spain in his first season in League One, playing his 8th match of the season. As Spokane have possession in the Greenville end. Greenville will just take a quick trip down the coast as they have to go to Fresno to play Central Valley Fuego, who were Spokane's last opponent. As Spokane look to avoid back-to-back losses, as a quick touch goes and a quick shot goes, and we have a one-goal game with Anwar Pelias making this thing 3-2 with 5 minutes to go in stoppage. Nice little quick touch passes as that one just got some contact on Pelias, just got enough of it to get it into the back of the net as the sprint back to center ensues for Spokane. They have very much had the better run of play in the second half. It's just a question of, is it enough or is it too little too late? Greenville dominated possession, shooting, XG, whatever you want in the first half. But the second half has been all Spokane. A quick poke up, Velocity have some space. Wide angle, but settled down, still in play. Schmidt into the area and caught by Rankenberg. Thompson holds. Lets it go. Ariel Mumba slides it across for Doling. Doling takes contact. Is it a penalty? No, play on. Tackle on the far line, and it will not go off of a Greenville player, so it's a goal kick for Rankenberg. eFootball 2024 is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. As we have another 2 minutes of the second half stoppage time, presented by the Coeur d'Alene Casino Resort and Hotel. As there's another 2 minutes to go of the 6. Spokane with a throw in at the halfway line. Javier Martin Hill. Only about a minute and a half to go, but there could be some extras with some of the injuries and time wasting from Greenville. McKinnon just slams that one towards Spokane's end as Thompson just gives his team some breathing room from their own end. Poked up by Herrera. Heel. It's a dead sprint ahead, but it doesn't matter. The flag went up as Pelias was a little bit too far ahead of the Greenville defensive line. As we mentioned, the Triumph take a visit to Fresno to play Fuego, who are just coming off of a win against Spokane Velocity. Fuego trying to bounce back from their issues, to say the least, especially the ones reported by the Athletic earlier in the week, before Greenville comes back to Furman against Tormenta. Greenville back in the attack. Is it stopped by Thompson again? Schmidt with the clear. Is it still in play? Yes, it is, but Greenville are the ones to do so. Corvino trying to get past Anderson, but Heel just trying to body him off as Spokane's running out of time. Anderson on the pester. Polak leaves it. Scooped up, in front, Robles offside. Greenville trying to argue about the contact on the corner, but they're just gonna let that one go as There will be a yellow card when that's all said and done for Chopper Herrera. My only guess is maybe for some choice words that were said, as Herrera gets the book just at the very end of stoppage time. Spokane Velocity has to travel to Windsor to play the Hailstorm, who are fighting for a top 4 seed before coming home to One Knox. That is going on the Greenville coaching staff, as there was the contact over in the corner. Some of the coaches did not like the lack of action and the missing potential for a card or maybe even a response. But nonetheless, it should be enough for the assistant coach for Greenville, who are already missing Nigel McCarthy from their technical staff from a suspension already. So let's be careful. They don't want to miss multiple of their staff. Doling takes a touch, cleared out by Greenville. Still in for Spokane. Most likely their final gasp. Service. Doling gets a wrap. Follow for Jome. Jome's got a man, fed into the area. Back post is not there because it took a clip off of Greenville. This will be the 9th corner kick of the half for Spokane, as ICCU's corner kicks are your financial success fan club. We're beyond 6. We're at 8. Is there going to be a savior for Spokane? Osriel Gonzalez. Thompson is up. Gonzalez punched out by Rankenberg. Still in for Lewis. Gives it back to Gonzalez. Fed again. Rankenberg with a punch. And that's another corner for Spokane. Will it be given, or is this it? Javier Martin Heel with the placement, as Mumba's ready for the delivery. He's got Gonzalez with him. Thompson in the mix. Out of his net, into the box. Osriel Gonzalez on the outswinger. No one there, as Schultz will claim it, and this will be it. A second half comeback comes short for Spokane as Greenville holds on. They win 3-2 to get the 3 points. So close for Spokane, yet so short, as Rick Wright and the Triumph will hang on to the 3-2 lead. But the best news for Spokane Velocity, because of the other results from the evening, they are in. Spokane have punched their ticket into the playoffs, the 4th club in USL League One history to make the postseason in their inaugural season are Spokane Velocity.
De vez en cuando, todos queremos soltarnos. Solo necesitamos un poco de ayuda. Conozca Un Poco de Ayuda. El Ford Bronco Sport Wild Edition 2024 pasa por cualquier terreno para que puedas darlo todo. Obtén una gran oferta en una Bronco Sport hoy mismo. Arrienda una Bronco Sport Wild Edition por $339 al mes por 36 meses o cómpralo con 3.9 por 36 y obtén $2,000 de bono Wild.
It's October, which can only mean one thing. Frighteningly good pro soccer. Spokane Velocity FC battles One Knoxville SC on Saturday the 26th. Watch as Spokane squad battles for a playoff spot, right here at One Spokane Stadium. It's the last regular season match, and we are celebrating you with free t-shirts for the first 1,000 fans. Pro soccer so good, it's spooky. Scare up some tickets now.
At Eastern Washington University, students and faculty work side by side to restore a lost prairie and decrease our carbon footprint. Composers are writing music to help us understand how salmon migrate. And urban and regional planning students partner with cities to gather the data they need to address homelessness. Interdisciplinary education that gets real about the real world. That's Eastern Washington University and you.
So Spokane Velocity, because everyone else took care of business, they clinched a playoff berth before kickoff even began. So just like that, they're the fourth squad in League One history to make the playoffs in their debut season. Velocity are in, and Lee Wiedman celebrates with his squad despite the 3-2 loss against a Greenville Triumph side fighting for a home playoff spot. As we take a look at our full-time highlights, Ben Sikowski slips it across for Liam McKinnon, who takes a little scissor takedown from Ahmad Longmire. McKinnon would put back the ensuing penalty kick, as just minutes later it would be the streaking ball as Sikowski would settle and gives it to whom else than number 9, Liam McKinnon. This is the goal that puts him in pole position for the Golden Boot race, does Liam McKinnon, as he gets goal number 14 in the regular season, adding on to the 4 goals he got in September. And then in the 66th minute, Velasquez off of the header for Leo Castro. That continues Castro's reign. His 21st goal in USL League One on his 50th start. And then in the 71st minute, it was the corner kick. A little scramble up in front. Falls right for Josh Doling, who took some contact from Tyler Polak. And then Josh Doling himself gets one back. His 5th goal of the season off of the penalty. Rankenberg got some of it, but not enough to stop it. And then in the middle of stoppage time, there was a lifeline provided for Spokane off of a turnover on the Greenville fumble, with Doling and Pelaez going back and forth. That's Anwar Pelaez's first goal with Spokane Velocity, as he got that nice feed from Doling to split the 2D. And that leaves things at 3-2, as that goal for Pelaez is also going to be the play of the match, brought to you by Modelo. As we take a look at the updated standings, as we mentioned, Spokane, they are in. They have enough points of a little gap between them and the Kickers, so there's basically no chance for them to be mathematically eliminated because of the points left to give. Greenville Triumph, they stick their place firmly in 4th place, but if things shake out over the next couple of weeks with Greenville and Forward Madison, maybe there's a chance that Spokane and Greenville can meet again in the playoffs, or maybe Spokane makes some ground up on Charlotte in Knoxville. Who knows from there? But it's going to be an interesting last 2 weeks of the regular season. Well, that'll do it for us here at One Spokane Stadium in Spokane, Washington. A 5-goal affair gets started, then ended by a Liam McKinnon brace in the first half. That'll do it for us and our entire ESPN Plus broadcast crew. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Ryan Lee. Have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.